Hey guys, what is going on, and welcome to another episode of my Morecambe Youth Academy career mode. We're closing in on the end of the first season here. We've got 4 games today, so let's just jump straight into it. The first game of today's episode is a home match at the Globe Arena against Bury. I have to say that the first half of this first game was very lucrative in front of goal for both sides. Morecambe do have the first chance here as Clark's first shot is deflected straight back off the defender, right back to the feet of the striker. He doesn't make any mistake with his second attempt though, as he hits it straight into the back of the net, scoring his 16th goal of the season. Brilliant from the striker there. You can see he pounced straight back onto the ball, touched to compose himself, and then rattles it straight past the goalkeeper. Bury are coming back at us here in the 21st minute as Rushford passes out to Merton, passes out wide to Tillmanson, decides to cross the ball in back towards Rushford, and a brilliant diving header goes straight past Romero to even up the game 1-1. Absolutely brilliant attack and clinical attack from Bury. 5 minutes later, Xavier is dragging the ball forwards for Morecambe, passes off to Alvarez, sees Gomez with a yard of space. Clark now has the ball, decides to play the ball back to Gomez, and a left-footed strike does mean that the Argentinian forward does grab his 3rd goal of the season, and absolutely brilliant time to find some form as we're still pushing for that automatic promotion spot. You can see there, clinical strike, the keeper can't really do much there, brilliant 2-1. Bury now with another attack as Thubridge passes off to Louty on this right hand side, decides to cross the ball in towards Merton, but his strike is well over the bar, not troubling the goalkeeper. Alvarez with some tricky dribbling there, passes off to Gomez, finds Xavier, back to Alvarez here, dribbles past 2 men, decides to have a crack with his right foot, but it's a good diving save from the goalkeeper. Xavier whipping in the corner here, nobody managed to get ahead on it, the ball falls to Gomez and he rattles his shot straight off the top of the crossbar. The first chance of the second half does fall in the 69th minute, and it is for Morecambe yet again as Davis does well to dribble past his man, finds Gomez with a brilliant through ball, and I don't know what that kind of strike was, but it goes past the goalkeeper nonetheless, and it does double Morecambe's lead here, and it gives them their 3rd goal of the game. You can see a brilliant through ball here, and a kind of sideways volley is brilliant from the forward. 5 minutes to go now, and Crookside has the ball on the left hand side. A nice 1-2 with Rushford. He crosses the ball in with his left foot. Moore manages to clear with his head. Drubble now has the ball on this right hand side. The ball falls to Merton. Tries a twisting volley there, but it's no good. And that does mean that the game does finish at Globe Arena 3-1 to Morecambe. And going into the April squad report, let's go and have a look at how these young prospects have grown. Hugh Lee's the first name on the list, 56 overall, so he's gone up a few points there. Now worth 180 grand, so that's positive. Potential 72 to 88, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that because it is dropping a little bit, but we're going to keep him in nonetheless. The second name on the list seems like he's been in this youth academy forever, and it's Ascari Joel. He's the exact same as he was before. He's growing. His potential's evened out, but we can't call him up because he's still only 15. I'm sure I still say the exact same thing for Jacob Madsen every single time, 83 to 89. The potential's evened out, much like Ascari Joel. The exact same potential as the Finnish winger, 54 overall, which is the exact same again, but yet again we can't call him up because he's only 15. Philip Madsen, another 15-year-old winger that we can't call up. His potential's dropped to 87 and he's 2 points lower than Jacob Madsen, so he may be gone in the near future, but I'm going to keep him in for now just to see whether that potential does rise back up. Yuseo Koizumi, the first Japanese winger of the list, and 91 potential does mean that he keeps his spot in the academy. 54 overall does mean that is the exact same overall as Ascari Joel, but that potential, I just need to see whether it's higher or lower than the Finnish winger, but we're going to keep him in now and just see where he goes from here. Yodo Mishima's next on the list, and yeah, he's not as good as Yuseo Koizumi. He's only 53 overall, 89 potential, which is 2 points lower than Yuseo Koizumi. 5'9", he should be the quicker winger, who would have thought, but he's got better attacking stats. Koizumi's got better physical stats, so we're going to have to see who we're going to bring in and who we're going to let loose. A new player on this list, which I haven't covered yet, is Akira Taniguchi, a 17-year-old central attacking midfielder from Japan. 46 overall, a terrible overall, but he does have the potential of 90, so we're going to see whether he does reach that. Yet again, it's his first month in the youth academy, so we could see him drop off pretty quickly, but we're going to keep him in now as it's his first month. And the last name, as always, is Lorenzo Romano, the 15-year-old playmaker. his 94 potential is still there, and we're definitely going to keep him in the youth academy. No worries about that. Going into the second game now after that youth academy squad report, and we are back at home and we are facing Port Vale. The first chance of the game does fall to the visitors, and it's Mark Cullen dragging the ball forwards. He decides to give it off to Atkinson. Nice little interplay between the two of them. Cullen decides to strike, and it forces a near post save from the goalkeeper. I thought it was going to go wide, but he ended up forcing a save from the goalkeeper. Gomez here with literally the second chance of the first half, and it came right on the half-time whistle. But he does give Morecambe the lead here. He's been absolutely clinical so far in this episode. He's already scored 3 goals, bringing his tally up to 5 all the season. You can see the right-footed strike goes straight into the side netting. The keeper really doesn't have a chance there, and it does mean that Morecambe go into the break 1-0 up. The first chance of the second half, we had to wait until the 68th minute, and it's a weak header from Amu that doesn't really trouble the goalkeeper there. 77 minutes in now, and Eklund has the ball. Another mistake at the back means that Cullen has the ball. Gives it off to Amu, but his strike is well wide of the target after being challenged by a central defender. Morecambe back in the attack, and we're now in the last dying seconds of the game. McAvoy dribbles round all the defenders and forces a save out of the Port Vale goalkeeper, but he can't quite put it to the back of the net, which means that the game does finish another 1-0 win. That's positive for the end of the season. Going back into the youth academy, and we've found 2 more players from England that I want to keep an eye on. The potentials aren't the best at the moment, but I'm going to keep an eye on them nonetheless. Bradley Hughes is a 17-year-old left back. We can actually call him up now when it is a position that we're short on, so I'm going to be extra lenient with him purely due to his position. But that 88 potential, I'm hoping that it does rise in the next month, but that 55 overall looks positive. He is higher than most of our players there already, so let's just keep an eye on him and see where he goes. The second name on the list, much like Akira Taniguchi, he has a very poor overall at 46. He's got a 92 potential though, so I'm hoping that he does grow a lot, and I'm hoping that his potential doesn't drop in the next month, which it very well could do considering his bottom potential is 68, so that could drop right off and we could be sacking him off in a month's time. But let's stay positive, he might turn out good. On to the third game now, and we're finally away from home. We travelled to Boundary Park and we're facing Oldham Athletic. Oldham did have the first chance of the game, and it's straight from a corner. Iacovitti has the ball inside the box. Heyman now gives it to Jones, but his long distance strike is blocked by Leisman, and we manage to get the ball clear. Jan Eklund has the ball for Morecambe on their first attack. Dribbles and gives the ball off to Alvarez. He then makes a run, gives an option, but his strike is blocked at the last second with a brilliant deflection from the defenders. Morecambe back in the attack, and it's the first one of the second half here, and yet another shot is blocked, but Clark seems to be pouncing on those second chances, and it's a sign of a really good striker, to be honest. If he fails at first and the defender does block your shot, you've got to be ready for the deflection. He picks it up again, and a right-footed strike goes straight into the back of the net. 20 minutes to go now, and the home side are back in the attack with Nepomucano. Gives it off to Silla in the middle. Wilson has the ball, decides not to go back to Silla, but his strike is saved and pushed over the bar by Fagan. 5 minutes later, and Oldham are back in the attack with Fage. He gives the ball out wide to Hamer, decides to cross the ball into the box. He's made an absolute mess of it, Fagan, there, and the defence has kind of dragged him away from it. They put him back in trouble as Moore can't clear the ball for the second chance, and it is saved by the Northern Irish goalkeeper. Brennan was brought off the bench in this one, and to be fair, what a brilliant impact he made. A nice little fake shot inside the box and a right-footed strike straight over the goalkeeper, forcing it into the back of the net to double Morecambe's lead within seconds of the final whistle, as he manages to grab his second league goal of the season. He absolutely rattles it into the top bins, and the keeper is left with little chance to save it. And with that late strike from Brennan, it does mean that Morecambe do walk away from Boundary Park 2-0 winners. 3 wins out of 3 in this one so far. Into the final game of today's episode, and we are away yet again, and we are at Gresty Road to face Crewe Alexandra. The first chance of the game fell to Morecambe again this time, and Clark plays the ball off to Gomez. Nice little 1-2 between them, but the defence manages to get the ball clear before he can pull his strike off. The next chance is another one for Morecambe, as Eklund gives the ball off to Alvarez. He manages to dribble round 2 defenders, decides to go himself, which was a poor decision, and hits the ball into the side netting. Morecambe yet again on the attack, and it seems like we were dominating the opening exchanges here. Alvarez tries to find Gomez in the middle of the park, but unfortunately the defence manages to get the ball clear. just before the half now, and Clark turns his man inside the box but drags his shot well wide of the target. Quite an embarrassing strike in the end. The next chance does fall 10 minutes from time. We had to wait a long time before Crew's first attack of the game. Nice little play between the three attackers, and they managed to get the ball into the back of the net. With 0 attacks so far during this game, they've managed to somehow pull it back, and they've managed to take the lead with seconds to go. But Clark, like he has been all day, he's been clinical. He loses the ball, gets the ball back, decides to dribble, and absolutely smashes the ball past the goalkeeper, keeping those automatic promotion spot hopes alive. You can see here the right-footed strike is rifled into the back of the net, bouncing just before the goal line, and the keepers absolutely hate that. And with that strike, that does mean that we do manage to get a point from this last one, unbeaten yet again in this episode, 3 wins and a draw. Just a quick look at the table now, and it's a weird table at the moment, because every single team other than us has managed to almost finish their season. They've all got 1 game left to go, but yet we've got 3. So when you look at this table, you're looking at that 3rd spot with Gillingham. We're currently on 76 with 6 points behind them. So we're hoping that Gillingham lose their last game, and we're hoping that Stevenage don't win, because if that happens, that means we have to win 2 of our last 3 games, and those 3 games are Forest Green Rovers, Newport County and Crawley Town. So hopefully we can grab 2 wins out of 3 in those. Now, as I mentioned before, looking at the table, the next game is a home tie against Forest Green Rovers. We've got 3 games to go, so we're going to be finishing the season in the next episode. We're going to be looking at all the players' growth. We're going to be looking at which players we're going to keep next season, which players are going to be moving on, which players we're going to be looking at in the transfer market, because it's really going to be our first season where we can actually spend a little bit of money, because we finally got our scouts. But yeah, we're going to have all that round up next episode. All I can say for this one, 3 wins and a draw. Absolutely brilliant episode. Surely that deserves a like. Subscribe if you want. And you know what, guys? We'll see you in the last episode of the first season.